The UAE's decision to officially implement value-added tax, or VAT, officially came into effect on January 1st. Now, there are 450,000 companies across the UAE that are now required to submit regular reports to the authorities on how much tax they're collecting from consumers and which then needs to be paid to the authorities. But many of these companies are still not registered. So we went and spoke to these companies, as well as some experts, about where they are in the process, what they need to do, and why they should do it.
I don't know about that, what?
Yeah, of course it's very difficult because it's first time in Dubai, so maybe all the price will be high like this.
So we don't have a bank account, we have a personal account we're using because some of the bank, they needed more than 50,000 balance. So all of the shop, I think in the Satwa Road, they're affordable to put the 50,000.
We are now using other software. Next week is coming new software, I mean with VAT also.
Many of the larger multinational businesses already keep records or have teams to help them prepare for the new tax regulations. But many of the smaller businesses, the SMEs, still haven't even registered.
We feel that most of the small businesses especially are not really ready in terms of their business processes, in terms of their systems, even in terms of their staff's awareness and knowledge on VAT. So those are our primary concern in terms of which people should be more concerned about or more worried about their readiness. It's the small and medium businesses.
The question many of the smaller companies are asking themselves is, how do they know if they've hit the threshold to qualify for VAT? And if they don't, how do they prove it?
Yeah, so effectively they have to submit their books for the authorities to review. It's a opt-in process. Getting registered for VAT is really an opt-in process. It's not a mandatory process. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's in the benefit of the businesses to get registered because they can claim their input tax while they charge output tax. What businesses really need to understand is that VAT is not a cost to the business. It's a cost to the end consumer.
Now, the UAE government has set the minimum threshold to qualify for VAT quite low at 375,000 dirhams. So it's fairly unlikely that most businesses wouldn't be able to meet that minimum. But what happens to businesses that haven't even registered yet?
For small businesses and medium businesses who still haven't gotten ready, there are two minimum things they should get sorted really quickly. One is the VAT registration with the Federal Tax Authority, and the second one is being able to generate VAT invoices. Other things can wait. It's not ideal to wait, but they can wait, but these two things cannot wait. If you don't have these two sorted, you cannot invoice your customers, which effectively means your business comes to a halt.
There have been calls to delay the adoption of VAT across the region. Oman, in fact, has delayed adopting VAT till 2019. That begs the question, will the UAE also allow any deferment or extensions?
The last time they introduced a reform, maybe similar to this, with the mandatory health insurance plan, there were multiple extensions that were granted to businesses. Do you foresee that happening with VAT?
No, I don't. I think the UAE and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have committed. For quite some time they've been transmitting to the public, to the business community, what the start date will be. They've invested a lot, they've worked a lot, and a lot of businesses as well. Most businesses have themselves invested a lot in preparation. So I don't think it will be deferred. I don't think that would be a good idea at this stage to do either, because I think that would just create even more confusion.
Now, as we found out, businesses are scrambling frantically to get their books in order. This is an important moment in the region's economic landscape, and it will change the face of business forever.
Well, I think for the UAE, this is a huge transformation. It's the biggest economic reform since the UAE became a federation independent on its own right. And that's because we're not used to dealing with the rigours that the VAT and a tax system like it will require of businesses. You know, we now have to issue invoices all the time. And I think in the end that will be very beneficial both for business and then obviously also for the government, not just in terms of the revenue it gets, but also the information and data that they'll have access to understand what really goes on in this economy.
This is Shayan Shakeel for Arabian Business in Dubai.